I look at apps from the privacy and security perspective, along with kind of the greater good perspective. A couple of things that I would recommend with respect to apps in the femtech context right now. The first thing is understand that a lot of women are very hesitant right now to input their data into applications that are tracking reproductive health data or sensitive health data, because there's this fear with the Dobbs decision that came out and overturned Roe versus Wade, that law enforcement officers and prosecutors are going to get a hold of that data. So that's kind of the fear that's been driving this. And it's also why you've probably seen a lot of news articles say, geez, should I delete my period tracking app? Should I delete my femtech apps? And for that reason, right, femtech is kind of in this unique and unprecedented situation in which it's got to be much more cognizant of how it's using and disclosing data, because women are now looking at that whenever they're choosing products to use.
Launching a brand new product category, and then to do it during the pandemic. By the time I launched, which was June of 2020, my business plan and my marketing plan was out the window because so many things were not viable because of the pandemic. So my first sales, my first run, I get all these thousands and thousands of Wad-Frees, and I think, okay, have I made a mistake here? How am I going to sell these? Stores were not reviewing products. I remember the very first order that I couldn't identify who it came from. It wasn't a friend. It was word of mouth. I celebrated. This was just a few weeks after I launched. And from there, it just blossomed. The media got wind of it. It started getting written up in the Good Housekeeping magazine. Real Simple, Reader's Digest, Southern Living.
We created this system where 50% of people leave their jobs within the first 12 months. LinkedIn found that, again, not just silly subjective data. Gartner found 80% of people don't have the right skills for their jobs. And something like 80% of people find recruitment to be the most stressful experience of their lives. This is a fundamental pillar of people's well-being and feeling of value in life. We are so ignorant to the effect of poor recruitment, and no one is really taking accountability for it. And this is why developing a safeguarded solution was so important to us.
At the time that we did this, we did not know about firsts. We didn't know that we would be first to do this. We didn't know, we weren't aiming for that. We were aiming for resolving an issue that was an inequity in the maternal health sector for women who not only had my situation, but possibly had sharply less outcomes than me. I was able to access medical care. I was able to afford alternative care, but I knew that that wouldn't be the same for everyone else. And even among those accessibilities for me, I still got no health care. I didn't get the medical care I deserved. So I can only imagine what would be the case for someone else in a different situation, a different city, a different town, with different access to health care.
How appropriate was it that my accident was on the 4th of July, and that was the day that I lost my independence?
Yes.
So we named our first fundraiser Dependence Day, to celebrate all of those who are dependent on others for care and for help, to raise money to help us advocate for the creation of this fitness center space that I had envisioned, as well as all of the other advocacy work around accessibility that I was doing. And it was a hugely successful event. We sold tickets for $75. It was my first taste at trying to get sponsors and food vendors, and we ended up having a little bit over 200 guests. We only spent about $8,000 and we raised $52,000.
I've been coaching a lot of women and really help them with their deck and everything. One of the big things I see a lot in women is this sense of not being sure of what you're talking about, being hesitant and being more assertive in everything they talk about. And to be assertive, you need to know your business extremely well, including your metrics. And too many times I see women kind of outsourcing the financials to somebody else and trying to get help there. Even if you get help there, you need to be on top of your metrics, because that's what gets VCs to get conviction and believe in you is when you know extremely well the data associated to your business, being your revenue, your gross margin, your churn, your net retention. You got to know them, you got to understand them, and you need to have an answer like that during the pitch, because that's really impressive. And I feel like when you're a woman, because there's this bias, you need to be even better at it. Most of the time, that's what impresses VCs the most, is your reactivity, understanding you're on top of your metrics. And that makes VCs feel really good.